Video games have the power to make the player feel and experience a myriad of feelings, from fear to anger to grief and comfort. Video games have been able to comfort and help me relax in trying situations. There are games that are specifically designed to provide a sense of comfort and relaxation to the player. It should be noted that while video games can help with hurt, they do not take the place of professional help. Sorry, but my therapist Futanari is not going to cure your depression or fix your marriage. Trust me, I've tried. I even went into detail in my Escapism in What Remains of Edith Finch video about how I myself could become so reliant on games as a way of coping and escaping from hardships that it became bad for me. I'd lock myself away, escaping reality. What I'm trying to say is video games can help, but in moderation, and they are not a substitute for actual help or treatment. They can be useful when combined with professional support. They can be one tool you use, but should not be the only one. They can help provide a moment of relief to clear your head from troubles so you can be better fit to tackle them. Throughout this year, I played a couple games that helped me relax and find relief. I want to share these games I found, in hopes that they might help someone else like they did with me. Some of these games you may have heard of, and some you may not have heard of. Carto is a game about a girl named Carto, who is separated from her grandmother and lost in an unfamiliar place. This is an exploration game where you venture around finding map pieces, seeing other cultures, and looking for your grandma. This is an exploration game that has one of the most creative means of exploration I have seen. You explore the world by literally moving it around. The map is divided into square pieces, which Carto can manipulate and shuffle around. It's kind of a reversal of typical exploration. Rather than moving around the world moves around. If that makes sense. Basically, instead of focusing on how you're going to get from point A to B, you are instead focusing on how to move and arrange point A to B. It's a really cool way of exploring, which turns this game into a puzzle game. You can't simply place pieces any way you want. There are rules, like how edges on a tile must match the one it's against. Like a water edge can't go against a grass edge. Tiles can also interact with each other. Like in this early section of the game, minor spoiler alert, you're looking for Cheyenne, and you're told she lives in the biggest forest. So, what you have to do is place all the forest pieces next to each other, and then Cheyenne will pop up on the map. You have to figure out how to arrange and rearrange the world to get to where you want to go. It's such a cool and seamless mechanic. As cool or fun as exploration may be in a game, there needs to be something worth exploring, and Carto does. The world of Carto is full of different people of different ways of life. You explore and see new cultures and different ways of life. It's a world that's lived in by diverse people from all walks of life, from the agriculturalists who believe that music and rhythm help plants grow, to the forest dwellers who live alongside animals. It's a relaxing and calming experience to explore and see new worlds and ways of life. Carto has this almost kid's picture book art style that I adore. It makes me feel like a kid again, seeing new things for the first time, and the wonder that came from it. This game is such a treat for the eyes, and it warmed my heart. If you're looking for a relaxing puzzle exploration game, you can't go wrong with Carto. Dorfromantik is a sort of puzzle city builder, where you place down hexagon tiles trying to get the highest score you can. The more connected pieces of the same type, the more points. Throughout the game, you unlock more different types of tiles to place, like railroads and windmills. The game is over when you run out of tiles, and you can get more tiles by getting more points. It's a simple game, but that's what makes it relaxing. It's not a high-stress game where every move counts. You're just trying to get a higher score. And you're still not really pressured to do that. You can turn on endless mode and play making your beautiful landscapes without worry. This is the type of game I play at the end of a long and stressful day to just unwind. Not worry about any grand objective, and just place tiles to build a beautiful landscape. As fucking bougie or cliche as it sounds, there is beauty in its simplicity. During times I feel overwhelmed, I like to go on a walk or hike. There's something calming about being surrounded by the openness of nature. Panic dissolves as I realize my worries were so much smaller than what I made them out to be. A short hike is a game that perfectly encapsulates this experience. This game is about a young bird named Claire, who's spending some time away from home with a relative on a quiet island. You have one goal: hike up the mountain to get cell phone reception to call your mom. And so you're set off, free to make the hike at your own pace. You can rush up there in very little time, or you can take your time and soak everything in. You can talk to the locals and uncover side quests, find treasures and games to play, and find more golden feathers to increase your gliding and climbing ability. It's a quaint getaway that helps you slow down and take in your surroundings. The blocky art style of the game is such a delight to the eyes. There was never a time I wasn't utterly enjoying myself while playing this game. A short hike is by no means long. In fact, it's rather short, taking me 2 hours to beat. But I think it's fine that way. The game is called a short hike for a reason. It's meant to give a little moment of serenity that someone who's overwhelmed might need. It gives the player a moment to calm their head, so they can better grasp what is troubling them. I remember, as a kid, hearing stories of heroes and grand adventures, and being amazed by these tales and worlds so much that I'd want to live in them. I would try to recreate and relive these tales with my imagination and however much cardboard I could scrounge up. Like many others, in my youth I was filled with the spirit of adventure and a sense of wonder. We were filled with the drive to recreate or create our own adventures and share them with others. Will Gator Game is something that encapsulates that nostalgia. The Little Gator Game is about a little gator who used to play this pretend play adventure game their sister made, heavily inspired by games like The Legend of Zelda. However, time has passed and their sister is now in college. She's come back for fall break, but is rather adamant about being too busy with adult work to play. So the main goal of the game is to recruit friends to help you expand and better your game to wow Big Sis. While you do this, you're still in the game. You're the hero clad in green exploring the island and going on quests to recruit people. It's not an actual grand and perilous quest like The Legend of Zelda. There are no risks and high stakes, but it still somehow feels like an epic quest to the gator and us, the player. The game is able to rekindle the childlike wonder in the player. While in another game I may find fighting cardboard cutouts of enemies pretty lame, it wasn't that way here. The quests you go on are always entertaining and accompanied by great and comical dialogue. There's this one quest in the game that turns into an Ace Attorney-like trial where you try to sue another kid for pushing us. And yes, it was utterly hilarious and amazing. This game is like a cozy nostalgia trip that takes me back to the adventures of my childhood. When you're exploring the island, you see memories of the past where you played with your sister, showing how dearly our protagonist holds them and how they never truly fade. That bright spirit and sense of adventure from our childhood doesn't stay there. It still lives on with us as adults. For me, it still lives on when I'm DMing a D&D or other such tabletop RPG campaign. I am still experiencing the same joy of creating adventure to share and partake in with others. Little Gator Game is such a heartwarming game that takes you on an epic quest that relives your childhood while showing you that, yes, some things change with adulthood, but that spirit of adventure and sense of wonder doesn't leave. Out of all the games in this video, the next game may be the one I most encourage you to check out if it at all sounds intriguing to you. This game is called APICO, and it's a beekeeping simulator. The premise is, you leave the big city to pick up the old family mantle of beekeeping. With your grandfather's guidebook and a bit of fucking around, you learn the basics of not only apiculture, but other fields of biology like floriculture. What makes this game really cool is how it's more than just a game. It's an educator. As someone who was not the most fond of high school bio, it's shocking how much APICO engrossed me. The goal of the game is to breed and conserve new and endangered species of bees. But this game isn't just about bees. It's also about the birds and the bees. I'll see myself out for that one. But in all seriousness, breeding is a central part of this game. You'll find different kinds of beehives in different types of environments. You can take these bees and put them in apiaries to produce offspring between two different bees or genotypes. This game pulls out actual biology using Punnett squares to predict the possibility of different offspring. You can find new species by breeding different genotypes together. Different bees are going to have different traits and stats, like productivity and lifespan. And of course, this adds more depth to the breeding. A big part of this game is playing geneticists trying to figure out how to produce the offspring you want and conserve it. And it's actually fun. I felt like a mad scientist trying to create the perfect bee, as stupid as it sounds. I was in a state of utter bliss, discovering and learning about different species of bees, building up my perfect little bee farm. Since this game is also a crafting and resource management game, you get to build the bee farm you want. Also, this game has multiplayer, so you can experience all this with friends. This game, however, still goes above and beyond by tying more biological systems to beekeeping. Floriculture is another system in this game. You'll find different types of flowers and can plant them next to your hives. Bees get pollen from these flowers and bring it back to the hives. If you put frames in your hives, you can extract the after products from them, including seeds for flowers. if your bees have different species of flowers next to the hive, there's a chance you could get a new hybrid species of flowers from the cross-pollination. Furthermore, you can catch and raise butterflies too. And these butterflies are also pollen spreaders, but they can also cause cross mutations in the flower species. There's a fair bit of depth in this beekeeping sim, which has these interconnecting systems that make you think of how they'll affect each other. I was actually being semi-educated while playing this game. Making a game educational and fun can be a really hard thing to pull off, so it's impressive that the devs were able to pull it off so incredibly well here. APICO is such a laid-back and relaxing experience. There's no pressure or way of failure. You can only have fun. Yes, there's a lot to this game, but it's all very casual. If you're going to check out one game from this video, check out APICO. This game is constantly getting support from the devs and players. There are a lot of cool mods that have been added, and they are smoothly integrated into the game. To add a mod to your game, you just click on the mods option in the main menu, and are presented with a list of mods you can easily add with a click. Just go check APICO out. The devs put so much love into this game, and it really shows how passionate they are about apiculture and bee preservation. They even donate a portion of the proceeds to conservation charities, which is pretty cool. I hope at least one of these games piqued your interest, and can help you find some peace and relaxation in your life. I will always die on the hill that video games are art because of the ways they move us and allow us to experience things in ways other mediums of entertainment can't. Games make you feel emotions, from sadness to anger, but also relief and bliss. They're not medicines or cures, but they are able to provide a needed moment of peace to clear the mind. Hopefully, these games can do that for at least one of you.